Hi everyone, it's Melissa, and today I am sharing with you my TBR for this year's Victober. I am very excited for Victober this year. I am every year, but especially this year because I think I will be able to hit almost all of the prompts this year. So I really only participate in Victober for the first couple of weeks because I reserved the last half of October to reading like spooky things, horror, dystopia, like that kind of thing. So I normally don't have like the room in my reading schedule to hit all the prompts, especially because some of these Victorian books are chunky. But this year, I think I will be able to hit all of the prompts except for the group read. I won't be reading that. But because a couple of the prompts this year deal with shorter form, and I have a book here that will fit 2 prompts with 1 book, I think I can hit all of the prompts this year, so I'm pretty excited. And by the way, I will list all of the Victober hosts below. I will either put their Victober TBR or their recommendations for their prompt or something Victober related below. The first prompt from Kate is to read a Victorian work which has representation of chronic illness or disability. And I am going to read Wives and Daughters by Elizabeth Gaskell. I've never read Elizabeth Gaskell, and I've been meaning to for a long time. I've been so looking forward to picking up a Gaskell. So this is my nudge that I needed. And this also will fit Katie's prompt to read a Victorian coming-of-age story. The next prompt is from Marissa, and it is to read a Victorian short story. I don't have anything to show because I will be reading something online from the Project Gutenberg website. So this is basically a database of books that you can download or just read online that are in public domain. So there's a lot of Victorian literature on there. But I am going to read, I don't know what, but something from Joseph Sheridan Le Fanu, who wrote a lot of like Gothic short stories. And because spooky season, like this could be a good transition into my horror reading. There's one story in particular called, I think it's called The Drunkard's Tale or The Drunkard's Dream. And it's about hell, I think, if I remember. I'll read that or something else. Maybe I'll even read a whole collection, but I will read at least one short story from Project Gutenberg. The next prompt is Petra's, and that's to read a Victorian book and watch its adaptation. And I have been meaning to read Oliver Twist for a long time. I know Katie from Books and Things recommended not starting with Oliver Twist or with Dickens's earlier stuff in general, which includes Oliver Twist, and to start with his later stuff. But I am not taking her advice, even though she's read a lot of Dickens, because I also plan to do a pop culture osmosis vlog about Oliver Twist. That's a series I did last year that I am bringing out of retirement and doing another couple of vlogs. And this one is kind of like the perfect book for me to do that series. So yeah, so look out for that vlog. But that is for Petra's prompt, and there are like 1,000,001 Oliver Twist adaptations, so I'm sure I can find something that I'd like to watch as well. And the last prompt is Roz's, and I'm really happy about what I found for this one. It's something she mentioned in her video. So her prompt was to read poetry, either long or short. It could be just a single poem, but I have a whole collection that she mentioned, and it is from Robert Louis Stevenson, and it's A Child's Garden of Verses. I love children's poetry as an adult, and I also loved it as a child. I love nursery rhymes, and I remember as a child I actually had a collection. It almost looked like an encyclopedia. I forget what books they were called, but I will insert it below in a picture if I can find out. But the first book was all like nursery rhymes, and then the second book was fairy tales, and then the third book was like folklore from around the world, or they were like different themes, and it looked like a set of encyclopedias. Comment below if you remember having something like this as a child. But the first book I remember reading over and over and over and over again because it was full of nursery rhymes and children's poems, and I just loved it. And I'm a bit, I don't want to say disappointed, because everyone has their own tastes and things they like, and my daughter loves to read books, and she loves me to read books to her. She has never been into poetry or nursery rhymes or anything like that. This book was gifted to her when she was 2, and I've yet to read a single poem out of it because whenever I would try, she said no, she didn't want to listen to it. And yeah, so this poor, beautiful book has been sitting in my daughter's room unread since she was 2 years old. Now, maybe I can convince my daughter to let me read just like one poem a night to her before like reading from a chapter book or a picture book, but I'm not going to hold my breath. So I will enjoy these children poems all by myself. Those are my reading plans for Victober. If you are participating in this year's Victober, please leave a comment below. I would love to have a chat with you. And as always, thank you so much for watching, and we'll chat soon. Take care. Bye.